everybody, and welcome to a revisit guide from a Zeal Sorceress. So one of the really great things about this build is that there are so many variations that you can do. Like, you can actually manage to do Ubers on this character as a Sorceress without, having, can you say, insane luck on your part or having to do something really stupid for it. Like, you can make the build work so that you can do Ubers in the same game that you join. So there's no real gimmick to it. It requires obviously some weird items that I don't have, but that is pretty much it. But yeah, I want to cover the non-energy shield version in this video now. There's just so many variations of this, but this is only going to be focused on non-energy shield. So let's just start with the build first. All about the enchant damage. So I max enchant damage and fire mastery. Then I put remaining points into worm. And since I like meteor, it can actually, it does 5000 damage. It's not terrible. Then I went for it. If you don't like having, another ability to use besides spamming Zeal, you could put the points into Warmth and then put remaining points into whatever you like. Yeah. So I went with Shiver Armor just because it's probably overall the better buff compared to Frozen Armor. Obviously, Chilling Armor is no good at all, but Shiver Armor is probably better than Frozen Armor. That's what I went with. And then pretty much no points into the lightning spells. Just the four abilities that you pretty much need. Well, three even. Lightning Master is gonna give you so much damage. So that is why this is the first ability I was maxing. Then Static Field, then Teleport, and Telekinesis as a pre-crest. Pretty simple build. Um, you could again go without Meteor and then just even go with Blizzard or anything like that. It's kind of up to yourself. I just went with Meteor because I already had Fire Mastery and I like the idea of Meteor because it's a spell that works well with melee builds, I suppose. Can show the Merc real fast. It's still the old Infinity standard build there. Clay Guards, Laying of Hands, Frostburns, Mage Feast. All very fun stash items for gloves. None of them are really, can you say expensive, so it's pretty much a budget solution here. Every one of these gloves works for different builds. Angelic Combers, you really just want these in your stash. A nice amulet for pre-buff if you're ever gonna be using energy shield. Then I have a nice little mana leech ring here. Ideally, mana leech would never be something that you should worry about in energy shield, but honestly, a mana leech ring can actually be pretty good if you're using energy shield. So keep something like this in your stash perhaps. A Ravenfrost ring, just because you want. For certain builds, two Ravenfrost rings, so one here and one there is actually a pretty good option. Ethereal Sandstorm tricks, I use this for my, what can you say, my all-arounder gear. So I need these boots only for the faster hit recovery. So I have 20 faster hit recovery here and 26 here, so that gives me 46, which reached the 42 breakpoint. But if I want to get at breakpoint higher, I need to use these boots here. Arak, again, this is just for the all-arounder together with Sandstorm. Secret Stealth, this is actually really great for mana leech, again with energy shield, but for the video I'm not gonna be using this build here, but yeah, it's a great build, built all around if you can get it on Europe non-leather. I will pretty much never use this build here, but it is a nice stash item to keep just for perhaps PvP or whatever. Shaco and Chains of Honor, they could have honestly be used in certain builds that are maybe a little more ranged like, but I pretty much only keep them for pre-buffing. So when I'm playing my energy shield, this is just gonna be those items that I put on real fast and go off. And just string of ears for even more mana leech, life leech, which is great for, what can you say, the melee variations. And that's pretty much it. Dracul's, this ring here, very fun choice. It gives me some life, it gives me great resistance, and then it gives me the the all important 10% faster cast rate. So I at least just reach once break point, so it's not completely useless. Then I'm using, yeah, look at this beauty. It's an unperm, I'm sure. Wouldn't even surprise me it's a highly duped one. This build would be perfect if it had some faster hit recovery, so 24% there, but it doesn't. But look at the life and the lightning resistance, completely overpowered build, and that's why I'm using it. Ideally, if you don't feel like you can get such an insane build, you should probably just go with a string of ears, because string of ears gives you life leech, which is always a great thing. Another option is obviously these two here, but I want to show off this build here just because I never really used a build like this before. Raven Frost Ring, obviously you need this one just for the cannot be frozen, and the massive attack rating always helps. Gore Riders, either you go with Gore Riders or you go with Sandstorm. There's really no other choice. I choose Gore Riders just because it has Crushing Blow. Don't really care so much for the other stats, but Crushing Blow is nice. And then try to get better, faster hit recovery than my own rolls here, but definitely aim to get a Dream Tower Shield. Again, it helps on the block percent because it's the highest amount of block for a low requirement straight shield or whatever. Morris, I can't find an amulet that would be any better than this one. If I could get an amulet that is 220, that would probably be better, but those cost like 500 FG and I can't afford that. Treasury, I really somehow like the look of Archon Plate, so I took one of my old Mercs Archon Plate and just switched it around. In the old guard I was using a Dusk Route, but just use whatever you have lying around. Pro tip here, the first line 5% chance to cast level 5 when struck. If you have a low defense Treasury, and this works especially well if you're using a Treasury on Mercs, you should perhaps just make a Treasury in the worst possible rolls that you can get, just to be able to have less defense so you can proc fade faster. But yeah, that's a minor little thing. And my passion, it's pretty average roll. It's okay, but it doesn't really matter what sort of passion you get. It can be a low one just like grief, but do try to aim for the bonus to attack rating being a high roll, because you do want to aim for at least 4000 attack rating. Ideally, you would even go as high as 5000, but yeah, this depends on the gear setup. And still just call to arms. So, as you might notice, my stats are a bit weird at him, but that is because I calculated all my stats to be able to use all the stats item in every little combo and possible way. And that is why if you only tailor your gear around to a specific, part, you could get as much as 450 vitality, maybe even close to 500 vitality. So you could definitely get more life than I currently have. But yeah. So, chance to block 36%. I'm very happy with this. It's enough for me to at least feel just I have some sort of block. So that is what I went with. You could go with max block, but it requires so much dexterity, and you really don't have the points for it because this is again not an energy shield build, so you need a lot of life to survive spike damage, and that is why we don't go with max block. Zeal and Meteor. It's funny, two fire spells, I like that. And as you can see, my Zeal damage is pretty much the same in the old guide. If you don't use Meteor, you can actually get Zeal as high as 56, 57k without any pre-buff gear, which is pretty damn sweet. But yeah, I like to use Meteor. I at least believe it's worth it compared to getting more damage on Seal. But yeah, it's hard to tell, I suppose. Yeah, and the resistance again. Mara's Amulet just helps me so much in getting good rolls. 20 plus and 20 plus on Dreams would be nice. But yeah, definitely go with Mara's Amulet if you need resistance. But yeah, that was pretty much the introduction, so I will cut it here and then we will move on with some gameplay. So let's wreck some shit. Now, please notice my health. Like, if you feel like it, you could go without recalls for easy content, but oh, there you go. You can clearly see that I'm, well, maybe you can't, but I feel it. Not using sandstone tricks, which means I have a lower breakpoint and faster heal recovery, is just bad. It just feels slower somehow, but yeah, the damage is there, you know. I'm not really gonna drop the recalls if I let myself leech once in a while. So like now I'm down in health. Wow, a lot, because I got cursed as well. Okay, that hurt it. But yeah, my auras took care of it off screen, and it's fun to see. But if I had energy shield for like a situation like that, I would not have dropped drastically like I did now, where I have to spam potions, like 3 of them just to survive from some off-screen damage pretty much. But that's just why I like to use Dracos. They give me some sort of, you know, both the life leech is very high, but also just having the life trap proc sometimes on packs that might survive for longer. But yeah, for one player, you know, one player casual, you know, it's totally fine not using perhaps anything other than maybe just a little bit of leech from like a belt or a ring or something like that. But yeah. Okay, some general thoughts on Meteor. Honestly, Meteor is probably not the way to go when you're not using both Mage Feast and a Rock Belt, because the faster cast ability just means too much when you also want to cram in static field before the pack is dead. So like you cast the Meteor and then you have to cast twice static field. It's just a lot of time because you have to remember just how fast packs do tend to die. And another thing I really hate with static field and doing chaos run specifically. So everyone knows about conviction hour being laggy, and I just want to kind of find like, yeah, so there's 3 down here. Did you see that I managed to cast static field, but like the mob here didn't get the static field, and that is because conviction aura lags for just those few seconds, which is way annoying. Fighting a lot of I can say high intensity, you know, fast rapid packs with lightning immunes in them. Such an annoying thing. So one of the really dangerous things in the previous build with Mana Shield is that certain spike packs, like the Venom Lords here in Chaos, is just really nasty for Mana Shield, especially because you get all your mana burned, then you get stun locked. You know, you can't really move away or whatever, and then you also don't have mana to teleport away. That is a very dangerous combination. But yeah, let's see how this weird build here goes up against the pack. Maybe a bit better. Who knows? So that was 1 potion, 2, 3. I have to go away now. Oh man, that was a close one. I already had to use all the potions. As you can see, my Merc dies, I die. No potions left, all 8 of them used. This pack is just such a problem. Somehow I just can't seem to deal with high intensity damage like that. Now, let's see if I can just... Yeah, now it's lightning immune, so my damage is not ever gonna really hurt it. I suppose it being lightning immune and fire immune didn't really help either. A bit of an unlucky spawn there for the video shot, but yeah, whatever. So, let's just finish it all real fast. Now he went up. So it did seem like my Merc's conviction aura didn't break his immunity as well, which is, you know, a normal thing to see. Now I probably forgot a seal or something. Yeah, there you go. Oh well, this pack is always the easiest one. As long as conviction doesn't lag. Nah, it's really only when you're tail stomping really fast attacks. And of course now it's out of range, but that is why we have Meteor. Whee! At least it came to be useful just a little bit in this sort of gear. And did I forget another seal up here as well? Wow, this is excellent. So I can actually show Lord this says as well. Oh! Oh man, this is just perfect. I think I'll end it with that. Hilarious. It really is fragile and very, risky gameplay, I suppose. So, back to my more normal gear, the all-arounder, I suppose you would call it, 2 Raven Frostwing and some faster cast rate. So, it's kinda hard to deal, with passive regen, like other classes has so much ways to leech their life back up, but this guild really doesn't. That's why Energy Shield is kinda nice, cause for Energy Shield you have Warmth, which just, your mana growth goes up pretty fast. And this build really doesn't have any way to regen life or anything like that, which is just a problem, I suppose. Like this is a perfect example. Like how can this build ever manage a pull like this? If it was a Yavason, I would just cast 2 or 3 lightning furries and the whole screen would be dead and I would use another pull. But here I have to be up close to make sure that static field is progged all around and all that kind of good stuff. Oh, and laying of hands, that's a nice little drop. But yeah, I think I kind of want to end it with that before the video gets too long. It's kind of hard to play this build, it's a lot of risk, and I do feel like that perhaps Energy Shield is the better one just because of warmth, regenerating your mana back fast. But it's hard to tell. Both builds have something the other doesn't, and so on. But there's definitely a lot of variations, and let me know what sort of variations of this build or whatever you like to use. And yeah, as always, have a good one, and see you on the next one.